Hey there, and welcome back to Channel 64. So today we're going to be heading out to the other side to go gather some more materials to fill up the rest of the storage room, but everything else from our little starter shanty thing over there has already been moved over. So as you can see, we have quite a bit of logs and stuff to kind of get us started, not completely full yet. And then, of course, I've started moving things over and got all of our chest monster stuff kind of transferred over here. So we have quite a few things to go through and at least lots of resources. Also very set, of course, on stone since, like I mentioned before, we had so many chests down in the basement that I've completely filled up our stone and a lot of the other stone materials as well. So that'll be good for when we have some future projects. But anyways, let's go ahead and head on over to the other side because nothing bad could possibly happen there. Hey there. Let me preface this with the omission that I didn't record much of my trip to the Otherside mining desert. I'm assuming that it's going to be pretty boring to watch. I mean, sure, for some untold reason, it now exists in some external trans-dimensional plane of existence. I mean, we've all been there. Well, on the subject of the other side, is it the other side? Or is it the Outlands? Or is it something else? I gotta be honest, I'm not entirely sure what to call it now. When it comes down to it, is that really why you're here? To watch me mine up some sand and gather some frogs? You know, I kind of feel pressured, nay, obligated to fulfill that request to satiate the viewing audience. But ask yourselves, is that truly what you want from Loki? The super serious technical Minecraft player? I'm not a goofball. I'm just an old dude pretending to be another old dude, but in Minecraft. So going forward, I'm going to stick with what I know and deliver that completely vanilla, super serious, extra French vanilla gameplay. Now, I shall return you to the mine desert. Alright. Got a few shulker boxes of sand already. It's going pretty quick. I don't think we're going to fill everything. We still want to get some more, maybe more terracotta and other things. So far, this other side seems very similar to the current side. Nothing really strange is going on over here. So I'm not really sure what the concern was about anything, but guess it's not really a problem right now.
I got a stick. Ooh, I got a stick.
Okay, what was that? That was strange. That doesn't normally happen. Shaken to my core by the events that had just transpired, I knew I had to get out of Dodge right away. So I quickly crossed the ocean and, maybe stopped along the way to get some animals and stuff. All right, so the first farm we have is my Magma Cube and Froglight farm. So this is, I think, based off of Ray's works. I built this farm originally in my very first SMP, and I've been tweaking it ever since. It's been getting larger in the number of layers and smaller in the size of the actual Froglight portion. So we have right here essentially a bunch of different spawning layers that the magma cubes will spawn on, and then they jump down trying to aggro these golems. They end up falling down either in the section over here with powered snow, which breaks them down into the smaller magma cubes, which then they fall through these chains to end up down at the bottom here, where they're eaten by the frogs. Or they fall into the side with the wither roses and then die and turn into magma cream. And then, of course, like I said, each season they keep adding more and more layers to it. Although this season I didn't. I just left it as is because I think we had a nice number of spawns last season. We have our AFK spot up top here. This ring of glass is for pack spawning to increase the number of spawns we have in the farm itself. And as you can see, even though I have made this as small as possible by a 3x3, we have way too many froglights. As per usual, there's no frog light farm that I can make that I don't end up with way too many frog lights. And this is already after I've pulled out probably at least 10 shulker boxes. I think it's even more now. 10 shulker boxes of frog lights already out of this farm. It's ridiculous. But we had to make this farm, and that's why I brought the frogs over from the other side, to make this farm. So this is my gold farm. The next iteration of it, I've kind of getting it more and more perfected each time. I don't even remember what this farm originally was. I think it was a design by Nembomb, released based off of the concept of that. It is a extremely tall, multi-layered farm that has turtle eggs on the inside, and then basically all of the zombified piglins run towards the turtle eggs, and they fall down this main shaft where everything gets collected. And then, of course, we have this giant ring here, also where the pack's spawning, and the glass on top to prevent the gas spawn. So this actually does go up to pretty much build height, and it's as big of a farm as I can create without shoving this bartering farm down further. I think we can maybe squeeze out another layer or two, but it's pretty good as is. And so the main changes with the farm this time, aside from using the standard, I believe this is Logical Geek Boy's bartering farm, we set up the auto crafter to craft in the nuggets into the iron blocks. And then, of course, up top here, from the end of the last season, we had set up an auto crafter setup for the gold nuggets into gold blocks as well. So those we don't run into capacity problems. And also, having to craft up blocks manually sucks. And I've already, passed through a lot of the gold from the system into this bartering farm. The way this bartering farm works is we have 24 piglins inside of this chamber right here. Thankfully, I have silenced them all thanks to our Silence Me data pack. And we load up our gold inside these droppers. So there's 3 droppers right here. There's a hopper clock that triggers, which then causes a torch burnout clock to happen. So this torch burnout basically pulses 8 times. 8 times 3, of course, because of 3 different droppers, equals 24, which is just as many piglins as we have down there. So it spits out all of the gold, and then with that proper timing, we have 2 slime blocks push the items down this ice path, which then goes over these hoppers as well. So everything gets sorted out, and then any junk items or overflow end up in our overflow chests, or they get burned, depending on if those overflow chests are, well, overflowing. So you see we get soul speed books. I've already gotten quite a few of those, probably already at capacity. And then, of course, our potions of fire resistance. It does break all the splash potions, so that's nice. We don't have all those extras. And then I already have quite a bit of everything else. To go along with that, of course, we have our bee farm. So this is the ENX04 bee farm design, and I've expanded it out for, I think there's like 24 hives in here. It's quite a few. And so we have, like last season, this side produces the honey bottles, which we then end up turning into honey blocks. And this side over here has shears, which we then get all of the honeycomb from. And the reason we built this in the Nether, so that 1, it works while I'm up at this gold farm, but 2, the bees don't sleep in the Nether, so that's kind of nice. Now you might be wondering, what is this target? Well, I shall show you. So prior to us getting an Elytra this last weekend, because we had a stream weekend, so go check out the VOD, it's on the channel. We needed a way to get up to the top of the farm, which our AFK platform is right there. So the way I do that now is, of course, with some wind charges. So we have a setup here similar to what Cupvan has set up in his base this season. You have 8 different dispensers with a composter and a pressure plate, and these all have wind charges in them. And if I hit this just right, usually it's about 50-50 whether I get it to the top there. So if I think, there we go. So able to land us up here. And of course, even if we missed it, we wouldn't take any fall damage because of the way the wind charges work. And we just hop up over here to our AFK spot, right here on this ender chest. And as you can see, we've got lots of piglins spawning in, and they're all running down into that center area. And it's just a constant flow of piglins just falling down, down, down. This is a sorting system or kind of item filtration system that I built and developed over the last few seasons. It essentially is the final form now, I believe, because it doesn't ever back up anymore. So each one of these sections, it's split up into, I believe, 24 total hoppers, pulling in 6 for each corner. And we have those divided equally between 4 identical systems. They have overflow chests, and then those chests go into a filtration system which pulls all the nuggets out. Everything else gets shot into lava. Then, of course, those nuggets go down into our auto crafters, which then create the gold blocks. And so it's a pretty solid system. And yeah, you get to watch them completely fall down. It's just constant flow of piglins, non-stop, never ending. But yeah, it works out great. And then, of course, if I didn't have my elytra, the way to get down is just fall to our lovely platform. So this is actually powdered snow, kind of similar to what we have in our storage room, and this allows us to fall without taking any fall damage. Of course, now that I have an elytra, don't really need it. The last farm is actually not near here, so we got to go a bit to the south. So let's head on over this way. I don't think we can run it right now because we have Neat Freeze in the overworld, but let's see if we can take a look at it anyways. So this is another ENX04 farm. I love his stuff. So this is the ENX04 Pure Pressure farm. It is a farm that is for wither skeletons and, of course, blaze. I don't think we're going to be able to see it running, but because they're going to despawn in the overworld right now. That's kind of the issue with running on a server. I wanted to create a single dimension farm, but it was too difficult with breaking bedrock, and it just was inefficient. So as you can see down here, normally we would have a lot more spawns if I was up at the actual spawning platform. In fact, actually, let's do that. Let's head on up here. Okay. Oh, hit my head. Okay. So we would stand right here and basically whack our sword at the different mobs. They would then, of course, spawn in down and that spawning platform. As you can see, I have the bounty box lit up, or it was lit up, it just disappeared. And we have wither skeletons spawning in. They're getting scared by the wolves, which are then pushing everything into the portal. Also, along with that, we have turtle eggs at the corners, and that causes the piglins that spawn in here as well to push everything as they're trying to get to the eggs. And so you'll see them kind of running in, and normally they would go into an overworld bridge, but like I said, because people are in the overworld, if I don't have anybody AFK near that bridge, then they're just going to despawn. Then they would appear down here, we'd kill them, and it would go through a few non-stackable item filters to take out all the swords and all that fun stuff, and then everything else gets put into our sorting system. And of course, we have a couple auto crafters set up here as well. This one is set up to process bones into bone meal. This over here, same thing. This is going to stay in here until it spits out coal blocks. And so we have quite a few bone blocks already, and same with coal, we're starting to get that. Of course, I've taken all of our wither skeleton skulls out of there, but as you can see, we've already got a nice start with 75 of those. So that's not bad. And then it does produce quite a bit of blaze rods. We even still get some gold nuggets and gold ingots as well, which I'll probably just bring over to the gold farm and throw them in one of those chests that we have, and we get a lot of arrows as well. But yeah, so that's turned out really well. So we're gonna probably, I think that's all we're gonna need for the Nether. I can't imagine we're gonna need any more farms whatsoever in here. I think that's everything. Maybe a basalt farm. It is a little bit faster, but you know, I think we need to turn our eyes back to the overworld and see what else we can make over there. All right, well, that's all the time we have left for this episode. I know that we built a lot of farms on the nether roof, and of course, we went to the other side to gather some materials that we need for those farms, as well as the storage room. And certainly nothing other strange things happened in the middle of that, and certainly there's not any context missing. Just your standard French vanilla Minecraft gameplay that you've come to love and expect from moi. So until next time, safe travels everyone, and I'll see you next time. Like and subscribe.